So that was the deal. I think that was the little nudge that went over. And after that, it's just been a streak down the road. So it's really been the thing. But she also is a health coach. She's been doing that. She had her own store where she was doing
actually coached us.
She did. She
Yeah,
actually did
she
through
is.
the 56-day system. And also, I think she had her own store where she was doing a lot of those good foods that you saw Cheryl talk about earlier. And see how all this ties together? Because she had all that stuff and she was really helping people do this. And she's been doing it for the past 10 years. So it's really been amazing that. But she is, I think she's number 37 in the US in the power ranker. So y'all, we've had a great lineup of power rankers too. Number 70 in the world. Now we're talking 400,000, dealers or brand partners out there, and she's number 74. Okay, so wow. So thank you so much, Shery, for coming and sharing. And we did ask her to tell us what she's doing because her team has grown and she's faced challenges. And I know she's, really worked hard to overcome them. And I'm asking her to share some of that info so that we don't hit the same potholes that she hit along the way.
Hey guys, thank you so much. And yes, we have such good memories that we shared together there with Jerry and Allison. Y'all, we were sitting in a room with a lot of other brand partners and just really getting started at that point. Even though I'd been in the business for a while, I wasn't really building yet. And, we had opportunity in front of us. And I just want to start by encouraging you about the fact that there's possibility and opportunity in front of you and everywhere that you go. But just because it's there doesn't mean that it's going to just automatically happen. Okay. I will tell you, there was many a times that I have sat in leadership development meetings, trainings, things like that, or sat on a Zoom and took a bunch of notes. Okay. Maybe you guys can identify with that. You took page after page after page of notes. And then when you walk away and you close that notebook up, you never look at it again. Okay. I want to encourage you today that if you identify with that, I want you to stop doing that. Okay. You have an opportunity when you get into the presence of leadership, mentorship, people who are walking sometimes just a few steps ahead of you, and sometimes they may be miles ahead of you, but you have an opportunity to grow and learn from their experiences. Okay. From their mistakes. We have as much to learn what not to do as well. And so I just encourage you with that, knowing that many of us are getting ready to be in Destin, Sandestin here coming up in a few weeks. And we're all going to come in with our notebooks and ready to go. So when you get there, I want you to remember, all right, Shery told me not just to take notes, but to walk away and open that notebook again and absorb that information. Really look at it. Take a highlighter, even when you get done, highlight the things that are action items that you want to put into place. Maybe even recap it with your leader so that you can determine what are my next steps once I leave this event. How am I going to apply this information that I'm going to use? So that was completely unplanned. So I believe somebody needed to hear that today, and maybe it was you. So they have asked me to talk a little bit about team building and have asked me to highlight a couple of things here. You guys would get tickled at the fact that I was standing outside of the hotel room waiting for Michelle to finish up out of respect for her space there. And I was hearing some of the things that she was saying, and I love the fact that I'm going to reiterate some of those same things. Okay, we do this all the time with our children, with the people that we're teaching. Maybe you're a school teacher and you teach in some format. You don't just tell people something one time and they get it. I mean, maybe that happens. Very rarely does that happen, but you want to reiterate to people some of the same things, and you start hearing it from different people, and all of a sudden you realize, okay, wait a second. All these different leaders are saying the same things. Guys, when that happens, you have to start listening and applying the things that you hear. So you're going to hear me say some of the same things that Michelle just said. And I hope that you understand that's a reiteration that those things are important. Okay. So let's get started here. So team building starts with, we're going to talk about product training here real quick. Being knowledgeable. Guys, we're so blessed to have the most amazing products. We have a lot of products. You may be on multiple products. I am. I've been a part of the company that created the drops for 10 years. Y'all, I am on a lot of these products. I love a lot of these products, but I still lead with the drops. Don't get distracted with all of these other products. Use the drops as the gateway product, right? The way to get into the conversations. Teach that to your teams. Now, does that mean that we never, ever, ever show a lifestyle? I like to do lifestyle posts with other products. To me, I think that's the best way to show them. I think it makes it more real for people, but make sure that your team understands that the drops, know everything there is to know about the drops, understand the drops, but also know that you have resources. So make sure your team is plugged in to what those resources are. You have your Share app. On the Share app is tools. Within tools is all the information that you need to know about a product. Make sure that your customers are plugged into the circle of help. There are people sharing about the products on there all the time, and also connecting them to issues, health issues that they have that can be improved as a result of using these products. Being knowledgeable, you don't have to know everything about every product. We tend to think that that's not necessary. That doesn't give you credibility. Okay. That does not give, hear me say that again. Somebody needs to hear that. That does not give you credibility that you know every single thing about every product. All right. What gives you credibility is that you know the resources of where to get the information from. So if you don't know the answer, you have the ability to go and look for that. Okay. Or you have the ability to tell your team where to go and look for those resources. The product trainings that we have, Kristen White has been doing an amazing job of highlighting products every week on the IPA. Use those. Those videos are made available to us in multiple resources. I know they're on the YouTube channel. They're on researchdrops.com. If you're on the IPA, you can listen to that firsthand, but you have those resources. Use them. Okay. Then we're going to move into sales skills. So you know about these products, you're helping your team to know about these products, specifically our gateway product, which is the drops. We want to make sure that we're using our techniques and our strategies to now improve our sales skills. And guys, this isn't just about learning how to sell drops. We also need to have the skills and techniques that we need to sell, and I kind of use that word loosely, sell our business as well too. I like to say share, okay, to share our business. We want to know what our resources are there as well. The Share app has some resources, but I'm telling you, the resource of that IPA call, you just heard that from Michelle. Getting your team plugged into that IPA call is so important every day. And I know there are some of you guys that are on this call that say, I can't get plugged into that call. I'm at work. I can't get plugged into that call. Don't allow that to get into the way of you learning. Okay. Just know that that resource is available. And if you're able to make it happen, because there was a time, much like what Michelle said, where that IPA call was happening, where I was struggling to get on it. I had my health food store. I would have customers in front of me, or I might be doing a class. I wasn't protecting that time. And it wasn't a priority because I wasn't in a mindset of team building at that point. And so once I got into a place, I would put my AirPod in. Maybe some of you guys can identify with that. You put your AirPod in. I would be really bad about sometimes driving and thinking, okay, I'm going to wait to leave when the IPA call starts, and I'm going to listen. Once I decided to start building my business, that wasn't okay anymore because y'all, I like to take notes. And so when that call was happening, I would get frustrated because I couldn't write down all the amazing things that I was learning on that call. And so as that mindset shifts, you begin to protect that time because I know that there are some who cannot, but I know that there's a lot that can. I have brand partners on my team who say, "Hey, I've adjusted my break schedule. I've adjusted my lunchtime. I'm on the East Coast, and so the time that we get on the IPA is a little bit later. And they adjust their lunch schedule for that. When it becomes a priority, you find a way a lot of times to make that happen. Okay. So know your resources, IPA call, the Share app, research drops, also YouTube channels. And then one of the really important things is get in the presence of those who are ahead of you, okay? Those who have already got the experience of sharing the products and also sharing the business with others. Get in those rooms. Make sure that you're listening, that you're learning, and you're applying, okay? So whether that's a local drop talk, whether that is a training like I mentioned earlier, whether that's a Super Saturday, whether it's in person or it's on Zoom like it is today, make those things a priority. Maybe it's even a role playing that you do with one of your mentors. Maybe for you as a team leader, it's you initiating a role play with someone on your team that may need some encouragement or they might need some experience in that area. Maybe you invite someone on your team into this kind of goes to that three-way call 2x2 where you're bringing in that validation that needs to be happening as well in these situations, not only for the validation, but man, I love to hear my mentors that I reach up to. Okay, none of us are at a place where we're developed to where we don't need that validation, okay, from somebody else in our upline. I love that's training. That's also training. You have an opportunity. So when someone on my team calls on me to come in and do the business presentation, they're also hearing it from me and they have an opportunity to then develop their own skill because the hope is that one day instead of them calling on me, somebody in their team is going to be calling on them. And if they haven't been exposed to that process, they're not going to have those skills to be able to lead somebody through that business presentation. So you want to make sure that you're getting in that presence. Next is leadership development. Just today, so Michelle and I were at a Super Saturday down in Baton Rouge today, and we heard so many great things. I think it was Haley Lee that made a reference that I loved, and I jotted it down in my notes, and I'm applying it. I'm sharing it right now, and that is learning how to plug into a source. Okay, into the source. Every one of us has some type of device, phone, iPad, laptop, whatever, watch, all those things that at some point during the day, whether it's through the night, you're having to charge that. Okay. You're having to plug that in to an outlet and you're having to kind of recharge that phone. You're having to connect it to a source so that it can be charged. Okay. So make sure that you're plugging into a source so that you can get development. Okay, personal development, guys. I am almost 13 hours away from home today. All right, and I am a part of a Super Saturday with a team that I'm not directly connected with, and I reached out and said, hey, can I come and be a part of this? Because there were people in the room that I wanted to learn from. I made myself available to be used so that I could share my experience, my information, the information that I felt like I was being asked to share. But at the end of the day, I'm walking away And I am already feeling like I am a better brand partner, a better leader, team builder, because of what I heard and learned at this event this morning. I hope you guys are feeling that way as well today as you're taking notes, but that's personal development. And your commitment to your personal development in all of this is so very important. I think about Andrea Rosser, you guys that watch her getting started training, she talks about how important it is for us to lead in love with our customers, that we have to love on our customers. Guys, that's also important with your teams. Even when we have to have conversations that are a little bit tough, maybe we have to be a little tougher if there are some guidance that needs to happen. You still lead with love. You still want to make sure that your team feels appreciated, that your team feels valued. There's so much to be said for the fact that the people that you are pouring into, or that you're expecting to get a result out of, feels valued. Okay, so important, because what's going to happen is they're going to return, they're going to kind of turn back to that, in the sense that when they began to grow a team, you were their example. So it almost goes back to like treat others the way you want to be treated. And we treat our team the way we expect them for them to treat their team. I hope that makes sense. We also want to make sure that we're learning from each other. Again, kind of back to our scenario today, as we are sharing and we're absorbing information, we're learning from each other. And guys, that isn't always learning from those that are in our upline. Sometimes that's learning from those that are in our downline as well. We have opportunities every day to bring people into our business that have different experiences than us. Maybe we're fortunate enough to bring somebody into our downline that has some industry experience, or some sales experience, and some things that they can share and teach others. We have someone on our team right now who's really, really good at editing videos and doing reels and things like that. And we're leaning in on him to help develop us in those areas. So utilize and learn from each other. All right, just a couple more things here. Mentorship. Make sure that you're using your mentors. I think you guys have heard this repeatedly today. So that means that it works. Make sure that you're doing it. Do those three-way calls. Reach up to your leadership. Get that validation. Set up the structure of that. How's that going to work? I love that. Over the years, I've heard people say, we have a system in place with our upline, or with our 2x2s, where I shoot them a text message and say, hey, I'm getting ready to give you a call. Make sure you answer. Or can you answer? Maybe you have 2 or 3 people lined up that you know that you can shoot that text message to and say, can you answer? Or you call and find somebody who's available there. I love this saying. You guys, if you're on the IPA, you may have heard this before. Ken Bailey, who I am so thankful is a part of my mentorship. A turtle on a fence post. He did not get there by himself, okay? You want to be sure that you are utilizing that leadership. It's so very important. Last thing that I'm going to finish up here with is your support team, your support system. With the team, offering encouragement to each other. Maybe that's through, text messages. I love an audio message. I think that we all try to be sensitive, a little bit sensitive to each other. And, sometimes time becomes a factor as far as making a phone call. If you can make a phone call, for sure, make a phone call. Okay. Please do that. But there's so much to be said for someone hearing your voice, hearing the excitement in your voice, hearing the encouragement in your voice. And so if you can't make that phone call, do an audio message to someone. Super easy. If you don't know how to do it, ask somebody and just send them an audio message. I use this as an example. I love to send birthday messages to people, and I used to always do it on their profile page. I would go in there and I'd put a happy birthday. Sometimes I'd even look for a fun little graphic. You'd Google their name and try to find a little graphic that says happy birthday. And then I heard somebody one day talk about actually sending an audio message to them in Messenger. And I thought, huh, that sounds really cool. And I tried to think about the difference in how I would feel as a recipient of that. So I shifted gears and I went to a place where instead of sending somebody a happy birthday amongst sometimes hundreds of other happy birthday messages, I go directly into their messenger. And maybe some of you guys have gotten those messages and I say, "Hey, Brittany, just want to wish you a happy birthday. I hope you have a blessed day." And they hear my voice. They hear the excitement that I have in celebrating their birthday. There's no comparison. I could have texted those exact same words, and although it would have been appreciated, excuse me, you would not have heard the care in my voice. Do that with your customers, do it with your team. Okay, it makes such a difference. Create value in each other. One of the things that I'm really trying to develop, even in my own team, is for me not to be the go-to for everything, because I would tell you, you get to a point where that becomes exhausting, right? And almost impossible. So begin the begin by developing value in each other. Kind of goes back a little bit to what I said earlier in identifying some of those skills so that when someone needs support, you're not the only one that they're reaching up to. Today has been a crazy day. We've done now multiple presentations. We've run from one location to the other, making all this happen. Well, I had a team member who needed some help today. And to start with, I was trying to figure out, how am I going to make this work? Okay, I'm going to need her to reschedule this meeting that she has because I can't do that. And then I thought, wait a second, I'm not the only person on my team that can help her. So I'm going to actually reach down, identify a couple of other leaders, put them in a group message and say, hey, to my brand partner, hey, listen, I'm not going to be available today, but we've got other leaders that can help you in our team. This is so and so, and this is so and so. They'll be glad to help you in any way that they can. And guys, I keep getting, we were in a group message. And so this was an opportunity for us to be able to, I could still be a part and kind of see what was happening there, which wasn't necessary. But I got a message back from that brand partner who said, man, I just got off the phone with Karen and she's awesome. Thank you so much for connecting me with her. She was so helpful to me. Y'all, what an opportunity that was to be able to create value in one of my brand partners, to be able to help her feel valued in her leadership with someone who wasn't in her direct downline, but as someone amongst our team leadership. Okay. Last thing here, using each other and then collaborating. So guys, that's it. I hope that I did not look at the time. So if I went over, I apologize. If I'm a little less, we'll get a little more caught up. But I just encourage you today. I just saw somebody put stop, collaborate, and listen. That cracks me up. How many of y'all immediately started hearing that song in your mind with the chat? I love that. I'm gonna have to go back and see who put that. but but guys, take heart, okay? And I'm going to repeat that one more time. You may be taking 100 notes today. If you walk away today and you close your notebook and you don't go back and look at the things that you're supposed to be learning, really evaluate that. You know, are you ready? Do you want to be in a place to grow and learn? All right. In Destin, I want to see those notebooks. In fact, if you see me in Destin, I want you to come to me, show me your notebook, show me where you've been highlighting stuff, show me where you've been making priorities out of the things, the steps that you need to do next whenever you get home from Destin. Would love to see that. Guys, thank you so much for having us here today. I'm excited to be tuned in and be able to listen and learn from here going forward.
Thank you so much, Shery. I so appreciate that. That's awesome. And Brittany threw in a great comment on there while you were going through that, and it hit me too. The way you were laying it out, you really want to train the next you. When you were connecting Karen with that other brand partner, so you're trying to teach her to become you too. So so much. Thank you so much for that's great insight from both of you to come up with that too. And when I look at this and I see how all we do, this isn't just for Partner Co. I mean, I'm here for Partner Co, whatever, but we have other businesses and we apply what we learn here to everything that we do. And even if you just work for somebody else, if you're a manager, if you're responsible for generating revenue for that company, you need to be listening to this kind of training because this is where it's at. I mean, thank you.
And with mentioning that, Jerry, I would really love to do something, guys. We have so many of you here, and if you're still here, let's get a 1 in the chat. Let's get fired up because this company is the absolute best. If you want to get healthy and wealthy, you are in the right place. Let's do some 10s. Who wants to become a millionaire? Heck, I do. I know I'm going to put a 10 in chat. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alrighty, Jerry, it's back to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I was putting my tens. I was putting my tens in the chat. So next up we have an incredible person on our team that has really just taken off and done well. We've heard from her a little bit. So